Effective implementation of the National Language Policy of year 2022 have been identified as critical for reversing the lingo-cultural discrimination being experienced in Nigeria. A professor of English language and sociolinguistics, Tasued University of Education, Ijagun, Ogun State, Professor Beatrice Egwogu made the call while delivering an inaugural lecture of the school. Anthony Gandono brings out the details.
Put together by the Premier University of Education in Nigeria, Tasued University of Education, the 25th edition of the inaugural lecture was attended by stakeholders in the education sector, particularly indigenous language advocates. Delivering the lecture titled English, Indigenous Nigerian Languages and Lingua-Cultural Identity Crisis in Nigeria, Remediating the Disconnection, the first professor of English language and sociolinguistics of the institution, Professor Beatrice Egwogu, pointed out that the interplay between local, national and international linguistics and cultural dynamics may pose a problem of disconnection from the local languages and culture. The university therefore recommended for both government and individuals to reconcile with their lingua-cultural identity to avoid alienation linguistics identity crisis.
The problems there are that our indigenous languages are being endangered, that our younger generation are not speaking their indigenous languages. Because of that, their identity, linguistic identity and cultural identity is at stake. So there is every need to reverse the situation.
Vice Chancellor of Tasued, Professor Oluwole Banjo, who declared the lecture open among other attendees, expressed satisfaction, noting that the lecture addresses lingua-cultural crisis in Nigeria precipitated by the dominant influence of English language and the neglect of indigenous Nigerian languages.
Implementation of this policy is crucial for reversing the lingua-cultural disconnection experience in Nigeria and for fostering a society where all languages thrive and are valued.
As Nigerians, we must cherish our local indigenous languages and also ensure that they continue to be relevant as a means of communication in all spheres of education.
The message there is we should not allow our indigenous languages to die, because if you don't have language, you don't have identity.
That on no account should our indigenous language, go into extinction. We must do everything humanly possible. You get it? Speak it in the house. Speak it everywhere to our children.
We learned how we should protect our culture through the preservation of our own indigenous languages.
The lecture also accommodated some cultural display. In Ijebu-Ode, Anthony Gandono, NTA News.